to start.
Any minute. Hello. Welcome everybody to our training on how to discover your ideal clients. Thank you so much for joining us here today. As people hop in the room, I just want to get to know you guys a little bit. I'm actually going to check and see. Awesome.
People are coming
Looks like
in.
people are coming on in. Welcome. As you guys enter into the room, I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. Put your city and your state and let us know what it is you photograph. I'd love to see who all is joining us today. That would be amazing. We are actually here at our temporary Casa de Youngren. We've actually been doing these trainings from our studio.
Yep.
But our studio has some shoots going on today. So we are here at our temporary Casa de Youngren,
We call it Casita de Youngren.
Yeah.
Little Casa de Youngren.
Little casa. We're actually hanging out with Jeff's parents for a little while as we look for a new place here in San Diego, which we are very fortunate because this is not too shabby. It's a wonderful place for us to bunk up just a little bit. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for putting in where you're from. We got Washington, Rhode Island, Eugene, Oregon. I love Oregon. Portland, Oregon too.
People.
We were just in Portland last week photographing an engagement session.
Is that Emily? Emily from Portland, Oregon. Okay. Cool.
Hi, nice
hey,
to
Emily.
meet you. I know Newport News, Virginia, which I was in Virginia Beach not too long ago, just a weekend ago. In Portland, are the cherry blossoms still there? Because we shot our engagement session with the cherry blossoms and they were beautiful. I loved them.
We got Atlanta, we got Boston, we got Iowa,
South Carolina. Ooh, Martha's Vineyard. How's it going? It's probably beautiful out there right now. Gorgeous spring.
I've seen a few people from New York. I saw some Brooklyn, New York City. This is awesome.
Thanks, guys, so much for being here. Wedding planner in Portland, Maine. Awesome. Welcome. You're going to get so much out of this training. Even though you're not a photographer, Jeff and I are photographers. That's what we've been doing for the last 10 years. So a lot of our examples will be around photography. But honestly, anyone in the wedding industry that works with clients, this works for you. So I'm so glad that you are here. We got another South Carolina, North Dakota. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Northwest corner of Illinois. Oh, this is so awesome. You guys, Orange County, we've got some other Californians here.
So good.
Alabama, but living in San Diego, Chula Vista. I was just in Chula Vista the other day. Nice. Welcome, guys.
So we're going to get started in just a few minutes. And I just wanted to say a few quick things. One, if you have any connection issues during the webinar, you can just refresh this page. You're not going to lose your spot. It'll just refresh. And that should solve a multitude of problems. The other thing is that during the class, I'm going to actually be in the other room and I'm going to be in the chat room with you guys. So if you missed something or need a link for something, or what was the thing that Erin just said, I'll be there to answer those questions for you guys. But also at the very end, we're going to be doing a Q&A. And we love the Q&As have been awesome for this series. Yes. And so during the class, if you have any questions that you want to get answered in the Q&A, you just got to change that chat bubble in the bottom to a question mark and ask your question. And then we see it as a question and we'll go through and answer those.
Yes.
So
that's very important. Otherwise, I will not be able to see your question very clearly. And so it could get lost in the chat, but I will be able to see it for sure if you change it to the question mark little icon. So that's very important. There was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, it's so nice having such a wonderful tech department.
Does that mean?
Yep. In our business, I have a wonderful
IT.
Yep, a wonderful IT department here helping us with everything. So he's going to be in the chat with you guys, which I love. So I want to go ahead and get started. Yep. Let's see how people are making it into the room. I want to honor your time here today because I'm so thankful that you are taking time out of your day to join us here today, to move your business forward. And that is such an incredible investment that you're making. Yeah. So I want to honor your time and get started and jump right into the content so you can get as much value as you possibly can out of this time today.
Great. All right. I'm going to go hop over in the chat. I'll see you guys over there. And I love you.
I love you too, babe. Bye. Have so much fun hanging out with everybody. I'm kind of jealous that he gets to hang out with you guys this whole time. All right, so I got my mug of tea. I pulled out my San Diego mug from Starbucks. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. And again, during the chat, put your questions in the chat. And if I don't answer it while I'm teaching you guys today, then we're going to do Q&A at the end. And I want to make sure you have those questions ready. So let's jump into everything. Thank you guys for being on time. Y'all are so awesome. And I just said y'all. I don't know why I said that. I'm from Idaho and I live in San Diego. It's just, things come out of my mouth sometimes. All right, here we go. I am going to hop over to our presentation for the training where I'm going to be teaching you guys. Whoops, sorry about that. Right here. All right. Here we go. I love it. All right. Again, thank you guys so much for being here for Invisible to Irresistible, how to fill your calendar with amazing dream clients. And as we hop into this, I want to make sure that you turn off everything in the background that you have going on right now. So if you have email up, Skype, music, a TV show playing in the background, I want you to turn all of that off. In fact, I want you to silence your phone. I am actually putting my phone on airplane mode right now as we speak because I am going to give you guys everything that I have. All my attention, all my time is just for you. And I would love for you guys to give me your full attention because I want to make sure that you get as much value as you possibly can. If you're in a place where you can close your door, close that door and make sure that everyone that you know is aware that you are investing in your business right now. If you've ever listened to Amy Porterfield, she's amazing. She has an incredible podcast on running an online business. And she calls this time her tiger time. And it's time that she sets aside to do important work. And she protects it like a tiger protects her cave. And I absolutely love that. I have totally latched onto that concept and said, you know what? I'm going to create my own tiger time. So I want you to protect this time as well. Now, for maximum value out of this course, I want you to print out your workbook. So you should have gotten a couple of emails when you signed up and registered with a link to download a workbook. Now, if you haven't downloaded that or printed that out yet, then I want you to take this time right now to do that because we are going to be going through this workbook throughout this entire training. There's going to be fill in the blanks. There's going to be different quotes, things like that I want you to print out. When you join one of my trainings, this is not fluff. You are actually going to be putting in some hard work that at the end of this training, you can take what you learned here and implement it into your business right away. So you're actually going to be doing some work here in that workbook. And then again, have your BBQs ready. BBQs are what I call your big burning questions. And any questions you have about marketing, branding, social media, how to get in front of your dream clients, sales, anything like that, I am an open book and I will answer any questions you have. In fact, on one of our recent trainings, Q&A went for 45 minutes and that's not normal. You guys had so many amazing questions. So I am willing to answer anything you got. Now, I also want to make sure you stay until the very end of this training because we have an exciting bonus for you. We have a bonus that's called our Dreamy Date Night Guide. And this guide is filled with all of the questions, emails, and questionnaires that Jeff and I use to get to know our clients so that we can learn more about them and get inside their heads. Now, I'm going to explain this more about this bonus at the end, so I want you to stay tuned for that. But a lot of our students have gotten amazing value out of this date night guide. Now, we are also throwing in another bonus that I'm going to talk about at the end of this training. It's called Copywriting for Your Dreamies. And I have been getting a lot of questions from all of you about how I write copy that connects with my dream clients. And I don't have any resources on how to do that. I haven't written any blog posts or done any trainings on it. I don't have a course you can buy. So I'm putting together a bonus lesson on how to do this. So stay tuned for more information on how to get your hands on not just that, but also on the other bonus, the Dreamy Date Night Guide. All right, ready? Let's go. Not too long ago, this was not this last year, I think it was the previous year, I went on a mileage run. And if you don't know what a mileage run is, it's when you go on a trip at the very end of a year just to get enough miles to reach the next status on your airline. And it's something that frequent flyers talk about all the time, but very few people actually do it because, let's be honest, it's really kind of crazy. But we're Delta people, and I really wanted the next status on Delta for that next year because we were going to do a ton of traveling, and I was so close to that next status. So At 6 a.m. one morning, I took off from San Diego, flew to Atlanta, went up to New York, got off the plane, walked through the terminal, straight to another gate, got back on the plane to fly back to Atlanta, and all the way back to San Diego. 17 hours, 6,000 miles, and something like 12 bags of peanuts later, I landed at midnight in the exact same place that I started. But the interesting part of the story actually happened when I was in the airport in New York. I was walking through the terminal and I was feeling really, really good because I had just spent the last 2 flights. It was something like 8 hours on my laptop, headphones on, writing and dreaming. It was the end of that year, so I was setting all these goals for the next year and I'm writing all this content and I feel like I am totally killing it. Like I get off the plane in New York, I'm strutting through the terminal, my rolling bag is behind me, and it's holiday traffic. I mean, there's herds of people flying by me. There's packs of people lined up at every gate all the way down the whole terminal. There's announcements blaring over the loudspeakers. It's hot and sticky, in the wintertime when there's lots of people and it's all packed inside and everyone gets really muggy. And all of a sudden, I stop dead in my tracks because something has just hit me hard right in the gut. I suddenly realize that nobody in this airport terminal knows my name. Nobody there cares what I do for a living. Nobody there cares about what I've been writing and what I've been dreaming about for the past 8 hours. And definitely nobody cares about what I'm going to write on the way home. And then the thought occurs to me, what if what I do never actually matters to anyone? Who among us hasn't felt like just one in a crowd? Who among us hasn't felt completely invisible? I mean, who among us hasn't felt like you've worked so hard to get somewhere, you saved your money, you figured it out, you sacrificed and you put in the hard work to get to a place that you had always dreamt about going, only to realize when you get there that you are just one in a crowd and nobody knows your name? That maybe all of that hard work you put in didn't really matter. Who among us hasn't gone 3,000 miles in their business only to realize that you have another 3,000 miles to go? So I'm standing there in the airport and I'm literally staring at these people rushing by me. I'm not moving a muscle. And I did a gut check. I took a deep breath and I said to myself, Erin, it doesn't matter if the people here in this terminal know my name. It doesn't matter if the whole world knows my name. What matters is the people know my heart. And the people that know my heart are actually the people that are back in San Diego. That's my husband, that's my friends, that's my family, and that's the couples that I get to photograph. I said to myself, I will not determine my success by the masses of people in the airport. I will not define my success by how well known my name is or might ever be. I will choose to determine my success by how well people know my heart. So I grabbed my rolling bag and I walked to my gate and I flew 3,000 miles all the way back to the place that I'd come from. I sat down on the plane, I put on my headphones, I opened my laptop, and I got right back to work. So let's get to work on your business right now. Now, as you know, I'm here to help you identify and book your ideal clients. So to start, I'm going to tell you a little bit about mine. My ideal clients are J.Crew-clad USC preppies that change the world by day, pursue their dreams at night, and cherish their legacy always. They believe tradition is beautiful, bow ties should never be pre-tied, and handwritten notes should be written well and often. My ideal client is the bubbly girl next door in Madewell jeans that fell in love with the charming class president in his worn-out Star Wars t-shirt. Nurses by day and road trippers on weekends, they will always be home for Sunday dinner at Grandma's. My ideal lemon-wearing attorney driving through LA in her Audi on her way from the gym to pick up her sister, her Vera Wang gown, and his custom watch that she's gifting him for the wedding. Now, why did I just say 3 different profiles? Well, the reason is because Jeff and I actually own 3 different photography brands here in San Diego. Now, Jeff and I have been married for 10 years. In fact, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary last June, which is a little crazy to me. And we decided to renew our vows under an oak tree on the college campus where we met. And then we invited all our friends and family to our backyard for tacos and margaritas, San Diego style. And it was right after our wedding 10 years ago when we started shooting together. So we've spent the last decade traveling all over the US and to beautiful places around the world, photographing weddings for couples that we love. And our weddings for the Youngrens, the ones that we have been photographing for 10 years, they are elegant, traditional, and classic. In fact, we refer to Youngren weddings as black ties and ballrooms. And I am also a writer, and both of us coach photographers on how to run life-giving businesses that they absolutely love. Now, back in 2012, we launched a separate photography brand, and it's called Clove and Kin. It's clove like spice and kin like family. And this brand is very similar to the Youngrens in its photography style and its heart. So it has that same classic, timeless, light, airy feel as the Youngrens, but it's at a lower price point and it serves those really relaxed garden weddings that are so popular here in Southern California. In fact, we refer to Clove and Kin weddings as gray suits and gardens. And we have 4 other photographers that shoot weddings for Clove and Kin. So Jeff and I don't shoot anything for this brand. It's an associate wedding brand. Now, at the same time that we launched Clove and Kin, we also purchased a local San Diego photography studio called Bauman Photographers. And this brand photographs mostly commercial work. So we do a lot of headshots, corporate events, products, editorial work. But this brand also photographs some weddings. And the bright, vibrant commercial side of the business totally influences the weddings that we photograph. So the style for Bauman Photographers is very vibrant. It's sexy, it's fashion forward and dramatic. It's very produced. In fact, our photographers use a lot of lighting. So this brand is completely opposite of the Youngrens and Clove and Kin as far as its photos. And we refer to Bauman Photographer weddings as designers and divas. It's so fun. I love working with so many different brands that go after completely different target audiences. Now, about 3 years into our business, this was a while ago, Jeff and I were still working at our corporate jobs, which meant that we were shooting on weekends, we were editing at night, and we were feeling the major effects of burnout. We were shooting these crazy weddings that were all over the map, and our clients were starting to demand a lot from us, but there were clients that we didn't really love and they weren't paying us very much at all. And we felt totally unappreciated. In fact, I remember giving this huge discount to this couple that was getting married in Texas because we're in San Diego and the thought of traveling to a wedding sounded so glamorous to me. So we flew out to Texas on our own dime after giving them a major discount. And it was the middle of August. It was an outdoor wedding. It was crazy hot. We were dripping in sweat, and the groom showed up 3 hours late to the ceremony. I was so over dealing with clients that didn't appreciate us and didn't love us for who we were. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Now, at the same time that we were shooting all of those crazy weddings that were everywhere, all over the map, there was this one network of brides and grooms that were from the girls' soccer team at Azusa Pacific University, which is a school that's near LA. And we got our very first taste of what it's like to work with a dreamie. These couples, they loved us for who we were. They talked about us to all their friends. They made us come alive. And this was so unique to us. It was so different and so fulfilling that I started learning everything that I possibly could about this thing called the ideal client. And I'm sitting there, I clearly remember this, sitting there editing at 2 a.m. this Texas wedding. And I remember saying to myself, Erin, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot keep working with clients that don't make me come alive. And I made a Hail Mary decision that night to turn our business around. And I decided to ruthlessly build a brand that would only go after the clients we adored. And that was scary because we had to get so specific and start turning away all of this business that we wanted, that was coming our way, and we had to start going after people that made us come alive. But within 2 years after that, our business took off. That was when we were able to quit our corporate jobs and we started traveling the world and shooting weddings for incredible clients. And in fact, we took our laptops The moment that we quit our corporate jobs, we took our laptops and we moved to Singapore for 2 months, and we booked weddings over that winter. It was during the off season, booked weddings that year, and traveled all of Southeast Asia. And that year we photographed weddings in Italy, Costa Rica, and Mexico. And we shot an engagement session in Sydney, Australia. It was a complete turnaround from what we were doing before. And we found ourselves running our dream business because we were going after our favorite clients. And it all started with this one network of brides and grooms. Now, fast forward to 2012, Jeff and I spent 2 weeks in San Francisco on a business retreat. And we wanted to dream about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do in the future. And two things were created from this retreat. One was Clove & Kin. That was where we dreamed up our associate brand. And two, I sat down and I asked myself what the biggest thing was that allowed us to create a business that was bigger and more fulfilling than anything I had ever imagined up until that point. And I realized that it was our ideal clients. Hands down, no question, that was the secret to our success. So I wrote down my original dreamy formula to help other photographers understand who their ideal clients were as well. Ever since, we have been teaching workshops and coaching photographers on how to discover their ideal clients using the step-by-step approach that I first created back in 2012 in San Francisco. And it has been an amazing, amazing ride. And in my years of coaching other photographers, after all these conversations and all these one-on-one time with all these photographers, the conclusion that I've come to is that most photographers think they know who their ideal clients are. But in my experience in getting to know all these businesses, I would actually argue that 3 out of 4 photographers are actually wrong. Most photographers don't go anywhere deep enough to actually understand their ideal clients. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of people teaching on the ideal client right now. There's a lot of educators and leaders, and I think that that is awesome. But what's unfortunate is that so much of the teaching, so much of the advice stays at the surface of the conversation. Most people tell you to figure out what cars your ideal clients drive, what shoes they wear, what purses they carry, what grocery stores they shop at, if they love to buy organic carrots or locally sourced honey. And based on those few surface characteristics, you're supposed to understand your ideal clients on a deep level and build a brand to attract them. I mean, you wonder why photographers struggle with branding and marketing so much, right? In fact, here's some indications that you might not actually know who your ideal clients are. You feel stifled in your art. You have to give discounts more often than not to get booked. Your images and your brand are all over the place. They're inconsistent. You find yourself getting backlogged in your work and you're not excited to see your finished photos because you're not producing work that you're excited about. If you relate to any of these, then I have bad news for you and I have good news for you. The bad news is you don't understand your ideal clients quite yet, but the good news is that you are in the right place, my friend, because I am going to help get your business back on track. Now, in the past few years, I have completely latched onto this word dreamy. Now, guys, this is not a word that I have come up with. Okay, it's a word that I saw on the internet when I was doing all this research a few years back. And I completely latched onto it. I thought that it was perfect because while dreamy is simply another word for ideal client or target audience or your particular avatar, I love this word because 1, it's totally fun. And 2, it makes it easier for me to picture in my head a visual of my perfect client as an actual character. I can sit down across the table from my dreamy and have a conversation with her. I can build a relationship with my dreamy because my dreamy is life-giving. She's not life-taking. Have you ever woken up the morning of a wedding and just dreaded the day before you? Have you ever driven home from a portrait session and said, oh my gosh, I am so glad that's over? Or has an email popped up in your inbox, ding, and your stomach totally drops because it's from that client? Instead, clients that are life-giving, they make you excited and motivated about your art and what you're doing. You produce your best work. It's beautiful and creative because you're excited about it. You're passionate and you're inspired. You create work that's totally unique to you. You are operating out of your own vision. And that's because you have something so critical when you work with your dreamies. You have their trust. Ideal clients are so vital to us as creatives because we have to have trust from our clients. When you become a professional photographer, or a creative entrepreneur, business and art have forever become intertwined. When you thrive in your art, your business does great, right? And when your business does great, your art totally thrives. And it's because you're not just taking jobs because you need the money. You're taking jobs because you're excited about them. You're taking jobs because they're life-giving for you, and they fulfill your creative needs, your creative vision. Now, I am a total podcast junkie. This is one thing you should know about me. And I'm actually launching my own podcast. It's called Creative Rising. So I can't wait to get this out in the world. I've been working so hard on it for a couple months. And I was listening to The Fizzle Show, which is a great podcast on online business as well. And they were talking about the ideal client. And they said this. They said, not only do you have to like the thing, your product, you have to like the inhabitants of the thing. So not only do you have to love what you do, you have to love who you do it with. It's critically important. I love how they express this. So you have to love who you do it with. You have to love your clients, not only to run a business that will work for right now, but to run a business that will work 10 years from now. Because honestly, guys, in today's fast social media world, anyone can pop online and build a business that will last for 2 or 3 years. That's easy. In fact, I've seen it done over and over again in the last 10 years that we have been operating our own business. But what's not so easy is to build a business that will last for 10 years, a business that will last for 15 years or 20 years or however long you want it to last. It's not easy to build a business that overcomes the trends and the whims of the marketplace, the crazy ups and downs that happen. You need to build a business that rises above that. And this is how you do it. In fact, I want you to write this down. As a business owner, by focusing on your dreamies, you are securing the future of your business. As a creative, you need to be passionate about what you do in order to keep moving forward. Passion is so important in a business like ours. And working with clients you don't like, problem clients that bring you down, or price shopping clients that are only out to get a deal, they will not only kill your passion, but they will kill your motivation. You won't be able to work hard. You won't produce amazing work because they are going to get you in your creative gut, right? They're going to kill what makes you move forward in your business. So by focusing on your dreamies, you are securing your future. So I'm going to walk you through a 3-step process here. We're going to dive right into this, and this is going to help you get inside the heads of your amazing clients that you want to work with. So let's get started. So pull out your workbooks if you haven't already, and there is a space for you to write down 5 to 7 of your favorite past clients you have ever gotten to work with. And we're going to do this exercise live right now. Like I said, we're serious about our classes here at Casa de Youngren. And when you show up, be ready to do some really great work. So in those spaces, I'm going to give you 1 minute to write down 5 to 7 of your favorite past clients that you have ever gotten to work with. Now think about clients that are on your Instagram feed or featured on your website. These are people that you're like, I loved the style of their wedding, or I had a great personal connection with them. For some reason, you would love to work with more people like them. Now, maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you're looking at your clients you have gotten to work with and you're saying, gosh, I don't think I have very many that I would call favorites. Well, 1, I'm so glad you're here because we are going to change that for you. But 2, I want you to write down friends or family in your network, people you know of that you would love to work with. That if you did get the chance to photograph them, you would just love it. You would have a great time. You would consider them dreamies if you got the chance. All right. And again, at the end of this training, you're going to have this workbook. So if you want to come back to this and revisit it and think of more people, that's awesome. And if you have more than 5 to 7 past clients that you loved, that's awesome. Good on you. And I want you to write down even more people, because the more people you have to study and to work with, the better. All right. Now, Jeff and I have a friend that's an audio engineer, and he has spent his career traveling the US doing sound for big concerts and big productions. And when he was first getting started, he had a mentor that helped him out with understanding when the next job would be a good one for him to take. Because much like us, he was a freelancer and had to decide, what would be a good job for him because he was going to spend the next few months working there. So his mentor gave him 3 characteristics to think about. The first was, will the job be good money? Will the job be with good people? And will the job be creatively challenging? Will he get better at his craft because he took the job? And I loved that concept, this concept of 3 qualities. So I took that and I reworked it for our purposes here to help you with your dreamies. And so I came up with 3 letters that will help you understand the dream clients that you just wrote down. So the first letter is P, which means were they profitable? And this doesn't mean did these clients pay you the most money ever or book your biggest package ever. It just means did they pay you your asking price without discounting? So did you have to give them a deal? Then they weren't profitable. But if they paid your asking price, they were great. C is the next letter, and that's for connection. Did you connect with these clients? Either personally, you love them as people, or did you connect with the style of their wedding? You loved the art. You were able to produce images that were totally you and totally your style. The third letter is R. Do they refer you? So have they talked about you to other people, and have you gotten more business because you photograph them? Now, maybe they haven't directly talked about you, but are they also part of a network that you would love to shoot more weddings or shoot more clients in that network? And this could also apply to vendors. So maybe you shot a wedding that you connected with a bunch of vendors and you've gotten more work because of the vendors or the venue that you got to work with. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to write down these letters next to the names that you have written down in your workbook. And there could be multiple letters next to the names. There could be no letters. There could be 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter. I just want you to write down whatever applies to the people you have written down. So P, C, R. Were they profitable? Did you connect with them? And do they refer you? All right. Now, what our friend's mentor told him is that if that next job that he was considering had at least 2 out of the 3 qualities that he mentioned, then it would be a great job for him to take. So if it was going to be good money and working with good people, but it wouldn't be creatively challenging, then it would be a great job. But if he was only doing it for one of those reasons, if he was only doing it for the money, but the people were awful and it was not creatively challenging, then don't take it. It wouldn't be a good idea. So I love that idea. And I want you to look down at the people you have written down in your workbook and look at the ones that have 2 or 3 letters next to their name. Now, these clients are amazing because not only are they going to be great for your soul, but those clients are also good for your business. So don't ignore the names that maybe only have 1 letter or no letters. You wrote those people down for a reason, and so it's worthwhile to study them. But the ones that have more letters next to their name, those ones I like to call super dreamies. And they're the ones that you really need to get to know, take them out to dinner, send them some gifts, send them some wine, really get to know them because they are going to be profitable and good for your business. Now, you probably don't know this, but Jeff actually has a degree in biology. He was applying to med schools when we met and were getting married. And he decided not to go to med school. And instead, he worked as a scientist in the lab doing cancer research. Like he wore a lab coat and everything. That's what he was doing when we were shooting our very first weddings. So when I shared with Jeff this example I created for this course using the letters PCR, he said, well, Erin, actually, that's a thing in science. And I was like, oh, great, because Jeff sometimes talks about science. And I'm like, oh, awesome. But this time I was super interested because PCR stands for the polymerase chain reaction. I really hope I just said that right. But the polymerase chain reaction is a technique that actually won the Nobel Prize in Science because it's used for when you need to make copies of certain fragments of DNA. And I thought that was so funny because that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to take our favorite clients, your top 10% of your clients that you have right now, and make a whole bunch of copies of them. Now, it's a lot more complicated than that, but in its most simplistic form, that is what we're trying to do here when we study these clients and we start digging down and getting inside their heads and get to know them. We want to use them to create more amazing clients for you next year and the year after and the year after. We want this to be a multiplying thing for you. All right. So let's take another look at a profile. I showed you a few. Here's another example of a dreamy profile. My ideal client is a young couple in their 20s that is looking for a photographer for their wedding and that appreciates my particular style of photography. They like good photos and will pay money for it. Now, I mean, this is a pretty great profile, right? No. Are you kidding me? I can't picture this person at all. In fact, the only thing that I can picture about this profile is that they are a young couple in their 20s, and that definitely doesn't set me apart as a wedding photographer. So, why doesn't this work? Well, this profile doesn't work because it's not specific. It is casting a wide net out in the general population, and it's trying to target everyone. And what you need to remember is when you target everyone, you attract no one. You are only looking for a small number of customers every single year. My guess is you are a boutique wedding or portrait photographer, or you are a boutique wedding industry professional, and that you are not Walmart. You don't need the masses. In fact, Jeff and I only book 20 weddings every year. That's our limit, and that's what we've done for many years, and we love it. In fact, we tell our clients this. We say, we only take on 20 weddings every year, and we're looking for the right 20 couples, which means that we need to get extremely specific with our marketing message. We need to make sure that we attract the right 20 people, and we get very, very specific with our brand. Think about it this way. Think about a big empty wall in your office, and many times your marketing looks a lot less strategic and more like wadding up a wet paper towel, throwing it against the wall, and seeing what sticks. This was definitely Jeff and I back in the day when we were super burned out. We were just trying to get anything that we could book. But what if you put a bullseye on that wall? All of a sudden, you have something very, very specific that you're targeting. That's what Jeff and I did when we turned our business around. We put a bullseye on our wall, we put our dreamy smack in the center, and all of a sudden, all of our efforts were no longer pointless. Every single thing we did had purpose. All of a sudden, we could be strategic about what jobs we took, what jobs we didn't take, and what we did to move our business forward to where we wanted it to go. When you know you're dreamy, when you have a bullseye in your business, that means you get to stop wasting your time, wasting your energy, and wasting your money on social media or blogging or advertising or bridal shows that don't actually work. Now, all those things I just mentioned, those are all good things. They're not bad, but they're only good as long as they are part of your very targeted strategy to hit your specific ideal client bullseye. Seth Godin, I love Seth Godin. He wrote this little book a number of years ago called We're All Weird. It's not one of his more well-known books, but I absolutely love it because he uses this term weird, and it fits perfectly with this concept of getting very specific about your ideal client. Seth defines the word weird as the things we choose to do with our time and with our money, which I also believe is some more fill in the blanks in your workbook. So pay attention to those fill in the blanks and keep filling them out as we go along, okay? For example, if you have a free night to yourself and you're just hanging out at home, which would be so amazing, what do you choose to do with your time? Do you read a book? Do you watch TV? Do you decide to cook something? Whatever that thing is that you choose to do, that is your particular weird. And the more specific that thing is, the weirder it is. So if you choose to read a book, what kind of book do you choose to read? Maybe it's a romance novel or a nonfiction about the Civil War, or maybe you love Spanish poetry. Those are all very specific things and would be considered weird, okay? Let's say you make a meal. You love to cook. What kind of food do you cook? Is it Italian? Do you love Thai food? Maybe you love cooking your great-grandmother's meatball recipes. If you watch TV, what kind of TV do you watch? Do you watch documentaries or movies or sitcoms? All of those choices are your particular weirds. And the more specific or niche it is, the more we can infer about you as a person and what you value. Why do you like doing these things? Now, for example, for Jeff and I, we have a couple of weirds. And one of our weirds is the fact that we have 2 matching scooters. And we ride our scooters all over our local neighborhoods here in San Diego. And we just moved away from our house, and our house was 4 minutes away from our studio, which was amazing because our morning commute every morning was a 4-minute scoot. I loved it. Now, as I give these examples of our weirds, I would actually love for you guys to start putting in the chat your weirds. What are things that define you as a person? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are things that people say, oh my gosh, that is totally you? Put those in the chat. I would love to hear them. Now, travel is also another one of our weirds. We don't have kids yet, and we would absolutely love to have a family. But until that happens, we have spent our 10 years traveling the world together, and it's been a blast. And Jeff has this goal to travel to all 7 continents. So the biggest item on his bucket list is to step foot on Antarctica. So when we went to New Zealand, we made it to the most southern point of the southern island in New Zealand. And this is like where supply airplanes take off for Antarctica. So we were very close. And it was all I could do to keep Jeff from like jumping in the water and just swimming to Antarctica. I was like, no, Jeff, don't do it. But which, by the way, if any of you guys out there, I'm just putting this out on the internet. If any of you guys out there have connections on how to get Jeff to Antarctica, he will love you. Like, he may name our first child after you. I am just saying, gotta put it out there. Now, another one of our weirds is the fact that we love flying on Delta Airlines, as you saw demonstrated. And we fly Delta everywhere we go. And in a few years ago, we were actually shooting a wedding in Atlanta, and the father of the bride is a pilot for Delta. Like, he's a full-on captain. And Jeff loved him, and they got along so well that by the end of that wedding weekend, the father of the bride went to his Delta uniform, took off his captain's wings, and gave them to Jeff, who had a little fanboy moment and was so excited. And every time we fly on Delta, Jeff wears the captain's wings. It's hysterical watching gate agents and flight attendants, and they'll see him and be like, "Sir, where did you get those?" Like, what's going on? They're very polite about it, and they're always very confused, but it's so cute. So think about your weirds. Maybe you love Adele, or you're obsessed with Taylor Swift, or maybe you love hiking and camping or cooking. What are the things that people say are totally you? And so I love, oh my gosh, you guys are so fun in the chat box. DIY house projects, antiquing. We have a large Muppet Golden Doodle Ramsey that we take everywhere, Becca. That is so cute. Oh my gosh, those are perfect weirds, perfect examples of what your weirds are. Andrea says, I love DIY shows. Ahem, Fixer Upper. Oh my gosh, we're totally fans as well. And in fact, we were watching the latest episodes last night. They're so cute. And updating, renovating, remodeling. Bree says, Broadway show tunes. That's amazing. That's such a perfect weird. You guys, this is so fun. Danielle, my weird is packing up spicy food, Cheetos, that's so funny, and driving up the canyon with my dogs to take pictures of the purple wildflowers and be in solitude with my husband in a hammock. Danielle, that sounds like paradise, what you just described. That sounds amazing. So good. Mandy says, I am obsessed with Gilmore Girls. Who isn't? And calligraphy and cooking. Haley, guys, these are perfect weirds. I love this. So think about your weirds, and I want you to write them down, but then also think about the weirds of your favorite clients as well. So we're thinking about ourselves, but we also need to think about our dreamies. Maybe they love college football or country music. Maybe they love hiking and camping, or maybe they love DIY renovating. Now, weirds are great. They're very helpful. These are the things we can see, touch, feel. They are the shoes we wear, the cars we drive, the grocery stores we shop at. But as I've already said, that's not where it's at. We need to dig a little deeper and say, why do we do the things that we do? It's actually about values. So that's the goal. That's where we want to get to. We want to get down to the deeper whys. And so how do we do that? Well, we do that by understanding pictures of happiness. Now, corporations make decisions based on ROI, return on investment, right? When a corporation is making a decision to open a storefront or hire a new employee, they're going to make that decision based on what kind of return they can get on their investment dollars. However, consumers are different. Consumers make decisions based on what I like to call ROH, or return on happiness. So when I walk into a J.Crew store to buy a dress, I don't buy it from J.Crew because I believe I'm going to get a bigger return on my investment dollars because I bought it at J.Crew versus somewhere else. That's just not true. I buy it at J.Crew because I love their brand, and I believe that dress is going to make me happier than other dresses because I bought it at J.Crew. Which also means that I'm walking into their store with a picture in my head of the dress that will make me happiest. So think about this. The goal of marketing is to have your ideal client's picture of happiness and your services intersect. J.Crew, through their advertising, through their branding, through their marketing, has convinced me that they are going to be the ones that will fulfill the picture of happiness I have in my head. So we need to understand what those pictures are for our dreamies. What picture of happiness do they have for their wedding day, for their portrait session, for their senior photos? What do they believe will make them happiest, and how can you be the one to fulfill that picture? How can you be the one that says, I am the perfect photographer for you. I am the perfect wedding coordinator for you. I am the perfect florist for you, because what I produce is going to make you happy. That is why we need to get inside the heads of our favorite clients. So you can kind of see how we're getting deeper and deeper here. In fact, think of it this way. Your weirds are what are above ground. Again, you can see them, touch them, feel them, which means that we can study them and learn a lot about our clients. And those can help us get one layer deeper into pictures of happiness. So pictures of happiness are more like this combination of outward weirds, the outward concrete things we can see, and the underlying why. Why does that picture exist? Why do they believe that will make them happy? It is a combination of outward weirds and deep inner values. Values are the why. It's why your ideal clients love things like college football or country music. Maybe they love college football because their family has gone to that institution for generations. And every time they watch a game, they are instantly connected to their legacy. Or maybe they love country music because it reminds them of a simpler way of life. And what are your weirds and your whys? So maybe you love hiking because you get to experience the beauty of nature and you love that. That's very important to you. Or maybe you love cooking because when you cook, you get to bring all your friends and family together and you get to experience community. And that's something that is deeply valuable to you. Now, the biggest mistake that I see photographers make at this point in the process, when we start talking about weirds and we start talking about values, is that I will see photographers look at their favorite clients and then look at themselves and they say, you know what? My clients are a lot like me. Like we do similar things. We dress in similar brands or we drive similar cars. And they say, one, you know what? I'm just going to go out and buy the same cars my clients drive, dress in the same way as my clients dress, and just do the same things they do, which that's not very authentic, right? In fact, your clients will probably get turned off because you're just trying to match them. So don't worry about that. Two, photographers will look at their clients and say, you know what? Because we're so similar, my ideal client is actually a version of me. Or my ideal client is a version of myself, but me when I was, 3 years ago, or me when I was getting married and planning my wedding and needing a photographer or a coordinator or a florist. Now, don't fall into this trap because if you do, you're just stopping short of the goal. You have not gone deep enough into the process yet, and you need to keep working at it. Okay, so don't stop short, keep digging down because you could actually look very different than your ideal clients. You could do different things. You could have different weirds and different hobbies, but you could do different things, but for the same reasons. Here's an example. Maybe your ideal clients don't love college football because of legacy, but they actually love college football for the same reason that you love cooking. They love college football because when football season starts, every time they watch a game or go to a game, they get to connect with their friends and family that all come together to watch that game, and they get to experience community, the same reason that you love cooking. Or maybe you love camping and hiking because it reminds you of a simpler way of life, the same reason that your dreamies love country music. Those are all very different outward weirds, but the exact same values. Guys, this is why I believe in this so much, because I have seen how photographers could have missed out on the most rewarding relationships because they focus too much on the surface weirds. Instead, when you focus on values, you can have amazing, fulfilling, profitable, passionate relationships with ideal clients that you may just turn off at the very beginning. But in the end, you can actually connect with them on such a deep level. Jeff and I don't look like our ideal clients, but we connect with them on a level that's so powerful that we run a fulfilling, profitable business because of it. Now, let me show you how this works. Remember our Youngren Dreamies, our black ties and ballrooms, our J.Crew clad USC preppies that changed the world by day? In fact, we call our Dreamies Emma. She's a very sweet lady. I love her a lot. I named her Emma many years ago. And This is how we've gone. We've identified the most common outward weirds of our favorite clients, and we've dug down to core values. So our ideal clients usually grew up in big houses with big dining tables. And that's because our clients had a family that believed in community. Theirs was the house that everyone came over for the holidays or events or birthdays, and they hosted a lot. They also have black tie weddings, not because they want to be fancy schmancy, but because they believe tradition is beautiful. They love to step into tradition and experience their legacy. It's something that's very core to who they are. Our clients are also what we call our millionaires next door. They're usually well off, but you would never know it. They don't drive fancy cars. They don't wear fancy clothes. They don't have designer purses. And that's because they believe that experiences are better than stuff. So they'll spend their money on really nice dinners or vacations, things they can experience with their community. In fact, this is a value that is a red flag for us if someone walks in wearing big fancy heels, a designer purse, and sunglasses. We know they're probably not going to be a fit for us because that outward weird is signaling a value that goes against one of our core values. Now, we do know that that bride would probably be perfect for bomb and photographers, for that ideal client. So when you know who your ideal clients are and who the other ideal clients are for photographers in your market, you can build great relationships in your community and refer people to the right photographers. This is how community over competition works. When you know who you are, you have the confidence to say, I know who my clients are and I know who everyone else's clients are. That's how you create community over competition and why I love this so much. Now, lastly, our clients also are usually foodies. They're into fine craft like wine and bourbon, and that's because they appreciate the fine craft of these creative things. Now, what's really interesting when you start digging down into this stuff is you actually create for yourself a position, which is really, really fun and interesting. Now, and I believe that this is also some other fill in the blanks in your workbooks. So fill this stuff in as we're going along. Now, your position is where you stand in relation to other businesses. So this is your brand. This is your style of photography. This is how you stand out against other photographers. Okay, those three little statements that we have for our brands, black ties and ballrooms, gray suits and gardens, those are our positioning statements. And as soon as we say those little statements, it becomes instantly clear what kinds of weddings and what kind of style those brands photograph. In fact, we tell those statements to vendors and coordinators in our area, and they know exactly what kind of brides to send our way. They're very, very useful. Now, this next thing is very important, so pay attention here. When you create a position, what you need to know is that a true position has an equal opposite. That bad profile that I talked about earlier, one reason why it doesn't work as well is because it tries to stand for good quality. Remember, it says, I'm looking for a couple that wants good quality photos. And my hope is that, of course, you would produce good quality photos. We all do. That doesn't set you apart from anyone else. And the opposite of good quality is bad quality. And no one out there is going to stand for bad quality, right? It's not an equal opposite. Instead, a true position has an equal opposite like refined versus rustic, trendy versus classic, dramatic versus romantic, traditional versus modern, vibrant versus muted. Okay, none of these positions are better or worse than any of the others. They are just different. And you can choose to stand for one of these things or the other. And when you do stand for something, it says something about you. When you stand for being dramatic versus romantic, that says something about who you are and what's important. You stand for tradition versus modern contemporary design. That says something about who you are. Your position is like carving out a little piece of your market, planting your flag on the ground and saying, this is what I stand for. And you know you have a really strong position that's grounded in values when your business believes in something. And when your business believes in something, you would fight for that belief. So a true position is worth fighting for. And guess what? When you start fighting for your own brand, when you start fighting for your values and your belief, then your couples, they're going to start fighting for it too. This is when you have couples that are so loyal to you, it's almost unreasonable. This is when they start fighting and standing for the same things that you believe in. And in a creative world like ours, our positioning statements come directly from our values, and our values are deeply personal. This is Ron and Gina. These are Jeff's parents, and they got married back in 1974, and they lived in Minneapolis at the time. And when Gina, excuse me, when Gina, at the time that they got married, Gina was a flight attendant for Western Airlines, and she flew all over the world while Jeff was young on these flight attendant trips. Ron was working, and he was working in his first corporate job as a CPA. And so when they were both off working, Jeff's grandpa Don took care of him when he was very, very little. And Jeff's grandpa Don took care of him from the time he was a baby until he was about 3 or 4 years old. And in fact, oh my gosh, this is a really funny story. There's a running joke in the family that when Jeff was a baby, his grandpa Don would set him down on sheets of newspaper in order to change his diaper. And the ink from the newspaper would transfer from the paper onto Jeff's bare baby butt. And so Grandpa Don would pick up Jeff and read the newspaper off of Jeff's baby butt. I always thought it was so funny. Sorry, that has nothing to do with anything. That was a super side note. But they were very close. And Jeff has some of his first memories, his very fondest memories, are him with his grandpa Don and then his grandma Bernice. But when Jeff was only 5 years old, Grandpa Don passed away from cancer, and he was only 60. He was very young, and it was a little bit sudden, and Jeff had never. Well, about the same time that Grandpa Don passed away, Western Airlines was bought by none other than Delta Airlines. And that allowed Jeff's mom to retire with a great benefits package, and she stayed home to raise the kids for the next 30 years. And Jeff's dad climbed the corporate ladder and traveled all around the world to provide for his family for those next 30 years. And when he usually traveled for business, he was usually flying on Delta Airlines. And you wonder why we're a Delta family. You know, it's not because of the free drinks and Comfort Plus, which are really nice, especially on those late night flights from Atlanta. We're a Delta family because we value great parents. And this is core to who we are as the Youngrens. Parents that love their children and are all about them and pass down that love from generation to generation. Now, this is Sarah, our bride from a couple years ago, and she was putting on her dress, getting ready in her childhood home where she grew up outside of Philadelphia. And as soon as she got her dress on, everyone was bustling around, grabbing stuff and walking out the door to get to the church. And Jeff looked over and he saw her dad just kind of standing there shell-shocked, right? Like a father of the bride can sometimes be. And so Jeff stepped in when everyone left and he said, "Sir, there's no need to rush. Why don't you take a moment and take it all in?" And this was her dad's reaction. He pulled in his 2 beautiful girls, his wife and his little baby girl, and he savored the moment because in that moment, the whole world was right there in his arms. And this was then right before they walked down the aisle when we did get to the church. He gave his daughter a fist bump and he said, "Good job, kid. I am so proud of you." And what I love about this photo the most is that down at the bottom of the photo, I really hope you can see it, is he is holding his iPhone. And he went to Jeff because Jeff was going to be at the other end of the aisle photographing them walking down. And he said, "Jeff, I am so sorry, but you're going to have to Photoshop this out because I'm going to put my phone in my front pocket so that I can record walking my daughter down the aisle. So I will never forget this moment." Whew, sorry. My dreamies always make me cry. My couples are so awesome. But Jeff, at the time, he burst into tears. If I know Jeff, he burst into tears. And he said, "Sir, you can't pay me enough money in the whole world to Photoshop that out." Because that right there, my friends, is life-giving for us. We stand for fathers and mothers that call out the greatness in their children. We come alive, deeply alive, when we work with these kinds of parents. You know, this is something that Jeff had. And unfortunately, I did not have this growing up, which is why it hits both of us so deeply. But I have experienced this kind of generational love because Don and Bernice poured into Ron and Gina, and Ron and Gina have poured into us. And someday, Lord willing, Jeff and I want nothing more than to be able to do that for our children. So what do you stand for? I want you to turn to the next page in your workbook and I want you to write down one of your values in the space that's provided there. In fact, I want it to be a value that hits you right in the gut. And I call those gut values because they're so central to who you are that you feel them right in your core. In fact, if you're willing, I would love for you to put some of your core values in the chat box and so we can see them. And I would love to hear them and celebrate them because these values, we need to talk about them more, right? Maybe it's adventure, maybe it's romance, or maybe it's tradition, or maybe it's not that, it's uniqueness. Maybe you value innovation and creativity. Maybe you value standing apart from the crowd and being true to yourself. Maybe you value making your own path in this world. Or maybe you value loyalty or serving others. You value gratitude. And we try to get a little specific. We try to go farther than just saying we value family. We say we value great parents. Guys, I love your values. Katie says compassion. Rachel says true love. Chantel says creativity. Cindy says honesty. Guys, I love this. Community. Mary and Joy say community and compassion. Becca says loving and accepting people as they are. That is so awesome, guys. I love these values. Megan says vulnerability. That is becoming a core value to me as well. I love that, Megan. Elizabeth says respect. Alicia, creativity. Amber, faith and compassion. I love this, guys. Keep putting your values in there for everyone to see and to celebrate. And guys, I need to say something here. If you find it difficult to fit in with your ideal clients right now, if you find yourself faking it till you make it, then somewhere along the way, you were told that you should go after a certain type of client. I really don't like the phrase fake it till you make it because it should be easy to fit in with your ideal clients. They should be your people. They should be people that when you walk into a room and they're throwing a party with all of your ideal clients, it should be easy to get along with them because you value them. You like each other. But if you find it difficult to fit in with ideal clients, and if you feel like at some point you were told you should go after a certain type of client, then I want to tell you something. There is this message that floats around the industry sometimes that says that the ultimate goal for you is to go after the high-end bride, that luxury is where it's at, and that you've made it once you photographed a, quote, high-end wedding. Well, I have news for you. The high-end bride, it's a complete myth. There are all kinds of different types of people at every single income level. So do not pay attention to this idea of the high-end bride because guess what? Dreamies are the new high-end bride. Dreamies are worth so much more than any luxury or fancy or high-end bride that isn't your ideal client. Now, if they are your dreamie, go for it. You have my full heart behind that. But you need to go after your ideal clients because your dreamies will not only be more profitable for your business because they trust you and love you, but they are also profitable for your soul. Oh, I love this, guys. And thank you so much for, I have a few more things I want to say. And so if you hang in with me here, keep putting your values in the chat. I love this, guys. This is so fun. Lastly, you might be telling yourself, Erin, I understand what you're saying. Okay. I get this. This sounds amazing. I need to start saying yes to my ideal clients and saying no to the wrong clients. But honestly, I have a family to support and I just need to pay the bills. I can't say no to any business right now. And I get it. Saying no is really hard and it's really scary when you have responsibilities knocking down your office door every single day. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to go home after this training or get off here and start saying no to every single client that walks in your door because they weren't exactly perfect. Because all of a sudden you're only going to be shooting 1 or 2 weddings this year and you're not going to be able to keep the lights on in your business because Erin told you to. That's not what I want. What I want you to do instead is I want you to start building a specific brand and a specific message that will start to attract your ideal clients and start turning off the really wrong ones. And I want you to identify the top 10% of your clients you had this year. We did that with that PCR exercise earlier. And I want you to treat those people like gold because you are going to use that small number of great clients to get more great clients next year. So you maybe have 10% of your couples that are dreamies this year, but your goal for next year is 20%. And the next year is 50%. The next year is 80% until you have reached a point a few years down the road where 95% of your couples are ideal. That is what you're trying to do. So see this as an opportunity. The opportunity to build a brand that says no to the wrong clients and says yes to the right ones. You have the opportunity to say yes to that 95% that is just a few years down the road if you follow the steps that I'm teaching you here. Now, you might be here right now and things are going pretty well in your business. In fact, you're ready to level up in your brand, but you have no idea what next step to take. Your brand is accidental and it's not intentional. In fact, you're booking lots of weddings, but they're scattered and they're all over the map. And you're just keeping your head above water with all the work you have on your plate. You know you need to focus your brand before you burn out, but the thought of an expensive rebrand is overwhelming because you just don't have the time. Or you might be here right now and things are not going so well in your business. Inquiries are down for you. Your bookings are grim and you're facing an empty calendar. You're desperately going after leads and discounting your price just to book anything you can get, and you feel invisible online. Social media feels like a giant popularity contest, and you're the one that's getting left behind. For you, burnout is right around the corner, and you know it. But no matter what brought you here, I know that you just want to do more of what you love, which is produce amazing images, and less of what's killing your brand, clients that steal your joy. You know that deep down in your photographer heart, you know that going after your dreamies is the key to building a successful and sustainable business, one that rises above the momentary trends and the crazy whims of the marketplace. And I also know that you are here because you have a unique voice. You have a creative eye that no one else does. Otherwise, you wouldn't have started this business in the first place. You wouldn't have taken a chance on this whole thing. You wouldn't be sitting here right now watching this training, trying everything you can to build a business that brings more joy into your life. My job is to get your voice out there, to get your voice in front of the people that will love it and appreciate it and help you spread it. In fact, I believe one of my core gut values is I believe the world is made a better place when everyone shows up to the table to share their unique voice. I also believe that your dreamies are sitting at that table waiting for you to show up. And if you don't show up, then your clients that are perfect for you, well, they're just going to go ahead and book someone else because they aren't seeing who you authentically are online. Okay, so you're sitting there right now and you're saying, yes, Erin, I want in. How do I go after my dreamies? Well, you've got some options. You can go the complicated and confusing way, which is you can keep trying to figure it out on your own, which is what Jeff and I had to do so many years ago because nobody taught about this. There was no step-by-step formula or framework that anyone had figured out. So you could spend the next 2 years spinning your wheels with your current clients, never having enough time to rebrand your website or update your blog, and you could keep throwing strategies against the wall to see what sticks. Or you can go the proven and strategic way, which is our 3-step process so that many other photographers have used to turn their businesses around. You can finally break free of the cycle of bad clients that aren't the right fit for you. And you can build a brand that attracts clients you love, clients that walk in your door and are ready to book you on the spot because they have already fallen in love with everything you stand for. Now, I'm guessing you can tell which one I want you to take. It's not easy. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. I would love for you to take the proven and strategic route, right? Because I know that it works. I have seen it work time and time again over the past 5 years. Now, if you're here and you're totally connecting with this, if you want to go after your dream clients, I invite you to join me in our master branding course, Discover Your Ideal Client. Course is the complete A to Z framework for discovering and attracting amazing dream clients that love your work, pay you what you're worth, and can't help but spread your name. This is the full bad boy. This will walk you through the entire process of helping you figure this out. Now, this course is 3 full modules with 8 in-depth video lessons. It comes with corresponding PDF Dreamy guides, and you get lifetime access to this. And it's all 100% online, and all of the trainings are available to you right now. As in, you can jump in and start discovering your dreamies today. This course isn't like a 6-week process or a 9-week process that we go through week by week. You can go and take all the lessons now or when you're ready to take them. Now, how does this course actually work and what will you learn? Well, let me walk you through the lessons and the modules and what's included. The first module is called Dreamy Foundations. And first, we get clear on your why. What do you want your business to do for you in your life? Next, you're going to learn the critical difference between what a dreamie is and is not. And there's some very fine lines you need to understand about going after your dreamies so you don't make some critical mistakes. And then you're going to discover why dreamies are so viable, so vital to us in our creative businesses. Now, Module 2 is Dreamie Bootcamp, and this is where we do all of the really intense hard work. First, you are going to discover who you are as a photographer and an artist. You're going to finally know what makes you different and what sets you apart from everyone else. Then I'm going to teach you how to get inside the heads of your favorite clients. I'll teach you how to figure out their weirds, who they are, what they love about you, and what they love the most, what is most important to them. Then you're going to create a powerful Dreamie profile that will inform everything you do. That Dreamie profile will help you in your branding, your marketing, your sales, even your systems. All of those day-to-day decisions will become super crystal clear when you have your Dreamie profile. Now, Module 3 is our Dreamie sales funnel, and this is my favorite module because this is where you build your marketing strategy to actually go out and get your favorite clients. First, you will define your unique style of photography. So you'll put to words the kinds of photos and weddings you most love to shoot so you can explain to anyone, including vendors or venues, what makes your images different and what kinds of weddings you love to shoot. You'll be able to explain it very easily. Next, I'm going to teach you how to stand out from everyone else by writing a clear positioning statement. Then you're going to get in front of your dreamies with a step-by-step social media strategy. This is where I'm going to help you create a copy library that you can use for your copy in your blog, your Instagram, and your website. And then you are going to build a social media calendar for your blog and your Instagram and everywhere you are online. So by the end of this module, you will know where to post, when to post it, and what to say to get your dreamies knocking on your door. But more importantly, guys, the real value of this course is what you're going to create by completing this program. You're going to create for yourself stress-free shoots, clients that are friends, and complete trust and appreciation from your couples. Yes, this is 100% possible. You're going to create a profitable and sustainable business that lasts. You're going to create for yourself focus and clarity in your day-to-day decisions. You are going to create confidence to finally go after the weddings you've always dreamed of. And you are going to create a client base of raving fans that will build your dream business. Now, in order to make this course as accessible to as many people as possible, I've actually created 3 different levels for you to choose from when you enroll in this program. Now, all 3 levels, no matter what, you're going to get access to the full course, all the video lessons that over all 3 of those modules I just talked about. They will all come with your PDF Dreamie guides, which these guides are where you're going to do all of the amazing work to discover your ideal clients. And they come with the course and they follow along with the lessons. And then no matter what, you will get access to our private members only Facebook community where Jeff and I and our staff and your fellow students will be there supporting you in this journey. You get to ask questions, workshop your weirds, workshop your profile, and get valuable feedback. Now, our basic level for enrollment is our starter level, and it contains these 3 things: the full course, the Dreamie guides, and the private Facebook group. And the starter level is a one-time payment of just $297 or 4 monthly payments of only $87. Guys, for $87, you can start discovering your dreamies today, which is a little bit insane. Now, the next level is our standard level. And this is so fun because we're giving you additional support in the form of 3 live small group Q&A calls. These calls are when you're going to get on the phone with Jeff and I and a couple other students, and we're going to workshop your weirds, answer your questions live. So many light bulb moments go off in these small group Q&A calls. They're extremely valuable. And we're also throwing in our advanced sales intensive in this level, which is a bonus lesson that teaches you the step-by-step process of how to confidently and professionally run killer client meetings that convert without being pushy or salesy. This is how we actually run a sales meeting and how we sell to our clients. And we are including our exact sales script, the word-for-word script that we use to book our dreamies when they walk in the door. It includes the questions we ask, the transitions we use to talk about pricing, and how we sell all of our albums. This is in the standard level. And the standard level with the group Q&A calls and the sales intensive is $497 or 4 monthly payments of $147, which is a little crazy. I can't believe we're doing this because the live coaching calls are worth so much more than the $200 it takes to upgrade to this level to begin with. So you're getting a great value. But there is one more level there, and this bad boy is the full package. The complete level is everything you could possibly need to get the full maximum value out of this course, because you get a 30-minute one-on-one vision call with Jeff and I. So you get to hop on the phone with us, and we are going to help you dial in your dreamy profile to make it perfect. We're going to speak into who you are, who your favorite clients are, clarify your weirds, clarify your values, and help you understand what makes you different. And in this level, we are also including a 1-hour private coaching call. So once we've dialed in your profile, we're going to help you implement that into your business. We're going to create a unique marketing strategy for you in your unique market, in your unique business with your unique profile. And because there's so much one-on-one time with us, this level is a one-time payment of $997 or 4 monthly payments of $297. And again, this is a great value. It's kind of insane because the one-on-one coaching alone is worth almost $700, which is so much more than it takes to upgrade to this plan. So you're getting an insane deal when you go with the complete level. Now, we have those fun bonuses for you. First is our Dreamy Date Night Guide. And you might be wondering right now, okay, Erin, I realize that I need to know more about my current clients. What if I don't know them very well? How do I get to know them without being weird and awkward? Well, Jeff and I have been getting to know our clients in a deeper level for many years. So we have compiled all the questions we like to ask our couples in order to get inside their heads. And we filled this guide with swipe copy for emails and questionnaires. We've filled it with our questions and loads of ideas that you can use on how to get to know your current clients without being totally awkward. Now, our second bonus is copywriting for your dreamies. And this is a bonus lesson that will be included inside the course. And like I said, I've had so many people ask me how I write copy on my blog and my Instagram. And people ask me all the time, Erin, how can I write copy that connects with my dreamies? How do I sound like myself? How do I come across as personal but still professional? Erin, do you offer any resources on writing copy? And the answer is no. I haven't written any blog posts or guides. There's no courses that I have on how to write copy. So I'm creating a bonus lesson for you on how I write copy that connects with my dreamies. And this is the first time I'll be teaching about this. So this is the only way you can get this content. I literally have no other resources. It's entirely for you guys as a part of this course. Now, both of these bonuses will be totally yours if you enroll in our course during this training. Once we log off, these bonuses will totally be gone. So act fast to get these valuable bonuses. Our students have loved the Dreamy Date Night Guide. It's been so valuable for them, and I'm so excited to include this new bonus of copywriting. So if you're ready to sign up and start saying yes to your dreamies, then I want you to go to discoveryourdreamies.com to join now, or just click on the enroll button that should be popping up in the chat. So Jeff, would you mind putting that enroll button up in the chat for me? And actually, if a few of you guys could just click on it and make sure it's working, that would be really helpful. Technology, sometimes you just got to make sure it's all working. And then if you can just let me know in the chat that it's all working, that would be amazing. Thanks, guys, so much. That would be awesome. Now, what you need to know is this course has a lot of introspective work. Okay, this isn't something that is a quick fix or an overnight strategy. Again, I wrote this course, this content 5 years ago, and I've been developing it and honing in on it and making it better and better over the last 5 years. So it is so amazing at its current form. But this program is a fundamental mindset shift. Okay, this isn't a quick fix. You're going to have to do some deep thinking. And my dreamies for this course are photographers that are willing to put in the hard work to build a lasting business. Now, most of my students complete this course in about 3 to 4 weeks. Some have done it in as fast as a week, but I want to give you 60 days for you to do the work. And if you do the work and you're still not satisfied with your results, show me your results and I will gladly give you a refund. But you do have to do the work. You need to show me your homework. I want to make sure that this course only attracts people that are serious about their business. But if after 60 days you do the work, the homework, and you're saying, you know what, I did not get out of this what you promised, Erin, I will gladly give you a refund. That's totally fine, because I know that I didn't do my job of making sure that you got the results that you needed out of this course. That is our 60-day money-back guarantee. So what you do next is you're going to go to discoveryourdreamies.com, or you're going to hit the enroll button and you'll see this pricing grid. You'll need to scroll down the course page just a little bit, and then click on which option works best for you. And then you're going to get to the order form, and this is your final step. So fill out the order form, and as soon as you've submitted your information, you'll instantly get an email from me welcoming you into the program with your membership login. And everything is ready and waiting for you there. So you can dive right in and start discovering your dreamies immediately. Now, you might be saying to yourself right now, Erin, it sounds great, but honestly, I'm just trying to stay above water. Dreamies are a nice to have for me right now, not a have to have. And friend, I couldn't disagree more, because clients that aren't the right fit for you don't pay you what you're worth, and they take up more of your time because that super critical element is missing. They don't trust you. And it's not because they're bad people. They're just not the right people for you. So you could be costing your time and valuable money by not figuring out who you are, by not focusing your brand and going after your dreamies. I can't wait to see you inside the program. So as folks start checking it out at discoveryourdreamies.com, I would love to start answering your BBQs, your biggest burning questions when it comes to your dreamies, your marketing, your branding, and your sales. So start putting your questions in the chat. And again, make sure to change the little bubble icon into a question mark to let us know that it's a question. And I see you guys have already started putting some questions in there. Thank you so much. You guys have been an awesome, awesome crew to hang out with. Like, I could do this every day with you guys. So thank you so much for being so fun. All right, let's see. Amber asks, how can you start to figure out your clients' values? That's a great question. And this is something that I walk you through in the course, and you'll be able to walk through these exercises on your own. What you start with is we start at the surface, right? We go through that exercise, that 3-step process of understanding what their weirds are, what it is they like to do with their time, their interests, their hobbies. And then we take that, and that gives us a hint into their pictures of happiness. What are the pictures they have of their perfect wedding, of their perfect shoot, of their perfect photography? And that will help you understand what's important to them and their values. And that's something that you go through these exercises, and you'll start digging down to what matters to them. Now, it's something that you'll have to, you don't talk to your clients and say, hey, what are your values? Like, they're not going to know the answer to that, right? But once you start understanding, I need to understand why they do these things, why they love bourbon, why they love knitting, why they love crocheting, then you can start asking questions that start to help you understand. So for example, if you say, you know, you guys love going on road trips all the time. What is it that you love about road trips? That's a very simple question. And they love, in my experience, your clients love talking about that. When you start asking those leading questions and saying more, asking them more about why they love the things they do, they'll start giving you answers. And that's how you can start to understand those values. So start doing that with your clients, Amber, and see if you can start digging down to those values just in your normal conversations with them. That's a great question. All right. Molly, I love this question. How do you create a dreamy profile if you and your business partner are different enough that you might have different dreamies? This is great because when you have a business partner or you're a husband and wife team, you have 2 people involved in the business, right? And so you have to marry what your desires are. You have to marry your values. So you will have to create a cohesive brand. You do have to create a brand that's consistent with both of you, but it has to be a brand that is fulfilling for you both. So what I recommend is in the course, I have you guys go through the first set of exercises separately, and then I have you come together with those exercises, and you can see where you have similarities, where you have differences, and how to go from there to start creating those values and finding those commonalities between you two. My guess is that you're business partners for a reason. You love the fact that you guys, you are different, but you get along. Otherwise, you wouldn't be business partners. So you have some shared values there, I'm sure. In fact, one of our students, they're a husband and wife team. They are opposites. Their thing is they said opposites attract when they got married. And they just went through a whole rebrand. And I love their rebrand because they actually camped on that. Their whole website is about how they are so different from one another, but they fell in love and they are opposites. And their website is so cute. It shows like what she loves, what he loves, and how they're so different. And it makes I love them for that. So they're through this whole process, they've discovered all these differences between themselves. And that's actually something that their clients love about them. So they've actually made that a part of their brand, which I thought was so brilliant and so fun. All right. Let me see. Love, 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 love these questions, guys. Let's see. Elizabeth says, how did you find that first group of couples from college that you mentioned early in the webinar? So our first network of dream clients, how do we get connected with them? Well, Jeff just put out to his friends, all his friends he knew, and he said, "Hey guys, I'm shooting weddings. If you know anyone getting married, I would love to be a part of it, and it would mean so much to me if you just mention my name." And it was just a friend that he had that said, "You know what? One of my girlfriends over here from college, she's getting married, and she happened to be a part of that network, and that's how it started." So literally, Jeff just talked about what he was doing to all of his friends and family, and he got it out there and he put the word out until he started understanding or getting some clients. We had a lot of clients at the time, but once we photographed a lot of people, we started to understand what it is we loved and what it is we definitely didn't love. And then we found this network and said, these are the people we love. We want more of them. That's a great question. All right. Another question that I get a lot based on the course is a lot of people ask me, Erin, how long will it take to get through your course, through all this content? And when will I actually start seeing results from the course? When will I start seeing the value out of it? And what I want you to know is that this is a go at your own pace kind of course. So while you can watch all the lessons in one afternoon, you can totally do that. This content is very introspective, like I said. Students that get the most value out of this course have taken 3 to 4 weeks to go through all of it, because you really need to spend time with the homework with each of the lesson. That's how long it'll take you to actually get through the legitimate content of the course. You'll start seeing value out of the course based on what kind of photography you do or what kind of business you run. So let's say you're a portrait photographer. Your clients turn over pretty quickly. So when you make a change in your brand, especially a dramatic one, you're going to start seeing the change in your type of clients quicker because you're shooting more clients more often. If you are a senior portrait photographer, your seasons are a little more spread out, right? So it's going to take a little longer to see a change in your clientele. With weddings, the turnaround time is about 12 to 18 months. So when you make a change in your business now, you're going to see results of that change when you book weddings and you actually shoot their weddings. That's going to be a year from now, and you start using their weddings to get more clients. So the turnaround time is slower. However, what makes that, or what's so important about that, is that the sooner you start making these changes, the better. Because if you decide to wait on this stuff for another 9 months, well, you're not going to see the results for another 9 months after that 18-month period. So what you do right now in your business, you will see the results of that a year to 18 months from now in your wedding business. That's just the nature of weddings. So what you do now, that is going to be your business a year or 18 months from now. So the sooner you get started in this process, the better. All right. I love your questions. Thank you guys so much for sending these along. I'm going to keep answering them. And guys, I'm so excited. Joy has just enrolled in the course. Welcome to the Dreamy family. We are so excited to have you here. We can't wait to help you in this journey and help you discover who your dreamies are. We're so excited. Head to discoveryourdreamies.com or hit the enroll button and take a look there. And we are so excited to be welcoming new people into this family. All right. Kelly, I love this question. How do you make it clear that you are a perfect match for your dreamies when you are on a phone call with them? I literally tell them. When I am talking with a couple that I love, I tell them, I say, you know what? I have this word I use. It's called dreamy. And I'm looking for 20 couples. We only photograph 20 couples. And I want to make sure they're the right 20 couples. And I call those couples my dreamies. And as I'm talking to them, I say, you are literally a dreamy for me. I would love to shoot your wedding. And who doesn't love hearing that? What couple doesn't love hearing that their photographer is like totally excited about them and their wedding? So I think that just say it, be honest about it. You have to be a little vulnerable when you say that, because you're putting your cards on the table and saying, I want to make this happen. But that vulnerability, people love that. Just open yourself up and say, you're so perfect. I love you guys. I love that you value legacy and tradition, and, say your values and like what's important to you. Couples love that. Just be open and vulnerable about it. Be honest about it. So, honestly, just tell them that they're dreamies. I think it's great. Let's see. Ivy Cook says, we are military. We move every 3 years. I know joining Facebook groups to the cities we are moving to and getting social in those might help to let them know that I'm a photographer. I don't know if I should do some Facebook promotions to help me get my name out there. Now, these are all strategies, right? They're strategies for how to go after your couples, for how to go after your clients. What this course is about is understanding that fundamental baseline, that fundamental value system, the fundamental plan behind those strategies, right? You're putting a bullseye on your wall that can help you understand what are going to be good strategies for you to do and not to do. Okay. So when you're talking about different Facebook groups and things like that, that's all great as long as you're going after, you know who you're going after, you know who your target is, you know what that bullseye is. So if doing something like Facebook promotions helps you get in front of your specific dreamies and helps them understand who you are, that's great. Go for it. But if you feel like your dreamies are not on Facebook looking at promotions to book their wedding photographer, then it's probably not going to be a strategic plan for you. It depends on your business model, and it depends on who your dreamies are that you're going after. So that's what this course does for you. It helps you understand that foundation of everything you're doing. It brings clarity and focus to your day-to-day decisions. So you can understand not only what social media platform should I be a part of, because I mean, most of us should be on Instagram, most of us should be on Facebook if we're in weddings. But now you know what to say on Instagram. You know how to connect with your dreamies on Instagram. You know what to do with Facebook, what strategies will work and what strategies don't. It brings you that clarity and that focus. All right. These are awesome questions. Thank you guys so much. Gianna, I think I'm saying your name right. That's a beautiful name, by the way. I have only shot a few weddings so far, and I only have one booked coming up. Is this course the right fit for me? Now, our students have gotten the most value out of this course when they are 2 to 3 years into the process and they photographed 10 weddings or 10 sessions on their own. They've worked with 10 clients personally. And that's because the more people you have to study, the more people you have to work with, the better. The richer, the deeper you're going to be able to build your profile. But I have had students that have been newer than that and have shot less than that. And what those students love is that they are able to understand this process earlier. And as they start booking more weddings, as they start booking more shoots, then they know while they're working those shoots and those weddings, they can understand what they need to be doing while they're doing it. They know, okay, I need to be understanding some the qualities. I need to be digging down to values. I need to be building my brand and honing in on that message while I build my business. And because this course is lifetime access, the lifetime of the course, you will have access to it. That means that you don't have to jump into the course right away if it doesn't make sense for you. You could take it right away and then revisit it a year from now and go through the concepts again and refine your profile again once you've had more shoots. So you have that flexibility with this course. Since it's not just a 6-week thing that we're taking you through week by week, you have the lessons available and you can go through them again and revise things later on as you get more clients. So our students that are newer that have gotten value out of it have said it's helped me in the long run just to start understanding who I am earlier in the process. All right, Sophia, welcome to Discover Your Ideal Client. Sophia has just enrolled in the course. Welcome to the Dreamy family. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you guys so much for coming into the Dreamy family. We have so many people heading over to Discover Your Ideal or Discover Your Dreamies, checking out the course and hopping in and joining us and starting the journey of understanding their dreamies. All right. Now, as you guys hop over there and take a look at everything, I also want to show you the 3 different levels you can enroll in just to give you a reminder of what is included in each. Now, as you go up to the levels, basically what's happening is we're giving you more and more one-on-one access to us and more one-on-one coaching. So depending on how much you'd love to have, you can choose your level based on that. The starter plan is perfect if you love going at your own pace, you feel like you can do it on your own with the help of the Facebook community, then that's a perfect plan for you. If you'd like some more one-on-one coaching, if you'd like to dig into things with Jeff and I, then the standard or the complete level are going to be perfect for you guys. And one thing I want to mention is that if you are going through a rebrand or you plan on going through a rebrand anytime soon, I would highly encourage you to not do that rebrand until you go through this course. And the reason I say that is because we've had so many students this last round say, I put my rebrand on hold, and I am so glad that I did. Because one student in particular, she said, my brand would have turned out completely different if I hadn't have taken this course. And the brand that I would have had would not have been what I wanted to be. It would not have been authentically me. And she is so happy that she went through this first and then did a rebrand, because her brand right now, she loves it. She loves her website. She loves how it connects with their dreamies on such a fundamental level. So this is perfect for anyone that wants to update their website, wants to redo their logo and redo their entire brand strategy. Do this first, because these are the questions your designer is going to ask you. A good designer will ask you your target audience, who you're going after, who you are, what kind of hobbies and interests you have, your values. A good designer will ask you those questions, and you're going to know them and get so much more value out of the money you pay your designer if you invest in this course first. All right, I love your questions, guys. Let's see. Emily asked, this is a very, very common question. Thank you so much for asking it. When you talk to a client who is not your dreamie, how do you professionally tell them you don't want to work with them? This is a great question. Now, I want to be careful here because, again, what I don't want you to do is to get off this training and say, you know what, all these clients are not exactly perfect. I'm going to turn them down. That's not what you should do. Your goal is to up your percentage of dream clients every year. So if you're at the point where you need to accept business to keep your business going, that's okay. What you can do is you can look at someone, a potential client, and say, what kind of ideal qualities do you have right now that we can connect on? So maybe this potential client is only 20% ideal or 30% ideal. What kind of qualities do they have that you can connect on? How can you make them into a dreamier client? How can you photograph their wedding that is going to be good for you? Use that PCR exercise to understand if it's going to be strategic for your business. Are they part of a network that you want to be a part of? Will they, is the style of the wedding awesome, even though maybe personally you don't connect with them as well? Will you get to connect with a certain venue or vendor that's going to be strategic for your business? They're the kind of venue or vendor that is working with more of your dreamies. So take a wedding in order to work with them, to connect with them, and get more dreamies that you love. Use that PCR exercise to be strategic about this. Now, if it's a client where you know, okay, if I take this wedding or if I take this job, it's not going to be a good experience for either one of us. I can tell that this is a giant red flag, that there's going to be problems down the road. And it's almost my professional responsibility to say no, because you're not going to be able to fulfill what it is that they want. That is completely okay. In that case, I like to give those clients a call on the phone. And it's not like this happens all the time for us. It's only happened a couple times in our business, but I've given them a call and I've explained that this is what you're hoping for as I understand it. Is that correct? Okay, great. Here's our style. Here's who we are. Here's what we love. I'm not sure we're going to be able to fulfill what you love, but there's a photographer down the street that would absolutely be perfect for you. And I wanted to hook you up and introduce you to them. I know they're open on your date already, and I think that you should actually talk to them because they are going to be amazing for you. That way you are on their side. That way you're saying, I have already done the work of making sure you're taken care of. I'm not leaving you hanging. I'm not just saying like, sorry, go figure it out. You are helping them in the process, and that is only going to help your brand. That kind of generosity, that kind of thoughtfulness is going to repay you, and the word is going to get around that you're a really wonderful brand with a lot of integrity. So that's how I've handled it in the past, and it's worked really, really well. So that would be my recommendation for turning down a client that's not a good fit for you at a base level. All right. Again, I also want to say, guys, that if you have any questions specific to the course, Jeff is actually over on the course page and he's live chatting with you guys. So if you have a specific question about, does the course include this, or is it right for me in this capacity, go and chat with him over there. I'm so jealous that he gets to chat with you guys directly on the course page and in the chat here. So, he's over there to answer any specific questions you might have about the course. So go ahead and join him on the course page if you have anything you'd like to run by him. All right. Michelle, this is a great question. How do I get myself out there and get the trust of families when I'm new to the city and also might not stay living here? Okay, so it might be a temporary situation. One of my students that moved her business to San Diego, she said, my strategy when I first started, and she was photographing weddings, not families, but I think that this could apply to you pretty well. She said, my strategy when I first got here was I literally met with every venue and every vendor I could think of. And then she took our course and she said, Erin, I wasted so much time because after taking the course, I could identify so easily the venues and vendors that were already working with my ideal clients. And she could be strategic about it. And she could say, she could go to a vendor and she could say, clearly, here's my ideal bride. Who is your ideal bride? It sounds like they're the same. We need to work together because we can help each other run fulfilling businesses and our styles match, our brides line up, and let's make this happen. She could have those conversations with them, and the coordinator knew that they were a good fit for one another because that's so important for vendors, right? That you all are going after the same thing. You have similar styles. You all like benefit one another's businesses. And so she could be very strategic about it. So again, what this course does is it helps you understand that bullseye, which gives you clarity in those decisions of understanding where you can be the most strategic and efficient with your time and your resources. So when it comes to coming to a new city and getting yourself plugged in with portraits, if you know who you're going after, you can identify the types of places that you need to go after. And my guess is there's going to be similar places in that city as to the city that you're currently living in. Like, do you have to go to certain boutiques or certain resorts or spas or certain places where your clients are hanging out in that particular city? Are there certain places on Facebook that you need to hang out, that you to get in front of people to get portrait clients? Are there certain people you can contact in that city, people in your network you might know to get the word out and say, hey, if you know of anyone that needs a portrait session, I would love to work with them. Here's the type of sessions that I do. Here's the type of clients that I love. If you give people very specific knowledge on what it is you're looking for, then it's easier for them to bring you the right business. So when you have this baseline in your business and you can be strategic, then moving to a new city, a new market is a little bit easier. You still have to put in the hard work, you still have to put in some time, but you're going to be able to make strategic decisions and not waste as much energy on it. So that's a great question, Michelle. I know that that's something where people move to new markets and they have to break into that new market, definitely. All right. Thank you guys so much for asking these questions. Keep throwing them my way. I'm going to stay on here and keep answering your questions because I want to make sure that you have access to those bonuses and that you're able to grab them before we log off from the training. And I love answering questions. It's so fun. So keep putting those in the chat box and make sure to change the little bubble icon to a question mark. Okay. I love these questions. I'm taking a look through them. Let's see. Haley says, this is a difficult question, but I would value, let's see. I'm trying to, let's see. This is a difficult question, but I would value either of you or Jeff's words on it because I value tradition, family, and faith. Shooting gay weddings is not an option for me. How do I turn away a client who fits that category? Obviously, things need to be worded tactfully. Any tips? Haley, I would actually love for you to send me an email. Send me an email at erin@theyoungrens.com, and I would actually love to answer that question for you, and we can actually talk through it since it is a sensitive subject for certain businesses, and it would be a little bit more specific to your business. So Haley, send me an email at erin@theyoungrens.com. And because I know that that's important to some folks. For Jeff and I, we have no problem photographing gay weddings. And but I do understand that there's some different specifics with that. So send me an email and I would love to chat with you personally. That would be awesome. Let's see. I love these questions, guys. Let's see. Kiani, I hope I'm saying your name too. And that's also a beautiful name. Guys, you guys are also awesome. Do you guys have anything that covers marketing? It's something I'm struggling with. Yes. So the entire third module in this course covers marketing. So first we start with your specific style of photography, and then we talk about creating your position, which is key to your marketing strategy. You need to understand where you fit in your market and how you stand out against other photographers. where you fit in your market. So we're going to create that position for you. And then you are going to build a social media calendar, and we're going to create your marketing strategy for you so that you can understand where to post online, how to post, where to post, and what to say. So that final module deals all with getting in front of your clients, building your marketing strategy, and getting in front of them. And then in the standard level and up, the standard and complete levels, then you're also going to get the sales portion as well. So when a dreamie actually walks in your door, when you've done all that hard work to get them to walk in your door, what do you do to actually book them? So that's a great question. So there's a lot of marketing involved in this as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for your questions. I'm going to stay on here for just a few more moments. Kelly has just enrolled. Welcome to the Dreamie family. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for taking a chance on this. And I'm so excited to help you in your brand and to create a business that you absolutely love. So guys, this is so much fun. I'm going to stay on here for just a little longer and answering all your questions. So if anyone... just a reminder that the bonuses are only available right now during the training. I know there's a countdown, but as long as you enroll before we hang up, you'll get the bonuses. So I'm going to stay on for just a little bit longer past the countdown, answering your questions. So shoot me any other questions that you guys might have. Let's see. Here's a great question. Kristen asks, this is my first full year of photography. Started my first wedding this time last year. Quit my job in September. That's awesome. Good job. What are the top things to set first in building a brand other than your weirds? Packaging, photo style, marketing, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, I believe in the ideal client. So honestly, when you're building your brand, the first thing you have to do is understand who you're going after. If you don't understand who you're trying to attract, then you can't really attract anyone. However, if you're just starting out, you're just starting this process, you might not have that clear understanding, right? So that's why I also have you study yourself. Why have you study who you are? These kinds of creative businesses are based very heavily on your personality, more so than a lot of other businesses, right? So people will book you based on who you are, if they like you, if they like your personality and who you are as a person. So the more you understand who you are and what makes you different, then the more you can attract people who love who you are. So when you're first starting out and you're first starting this brand, start understanding who you are, which is why I have you start by understanding your weirds and then digging down to your values. Start there and then start putting yourself out there. Have somewhere online where people can find you, a website or a blog. Definitely put that out there and start putting your personality on that website, on that blog. And don't be afraid to put yourself online. People are going to have an idea of who you authentically are in order for them to know if they're the right fit for you. So have a landing page, start putting your personality out there and understanding who you are, and then start studying your favorite clients as you get to shoot them. And then you're going to start building your brand around who they are and what they love and their needs and their desires and their pictures of happiness. So as you build your brand, as you grow, you can't keep your brand based on just yourself. That's where you can start, but then it has to develop and grow over time. Because in the end, your brand ultimately needs to become all about your clients. At some point, you need to get outside of your own head and into the heads of your customers. You need to understand what's important to them, what their pictures of happiness are, what their needs are, and how you can fulfill that for them. So you're going to develop and you're going to get there eventually. And over time, and this course is what's going to teach you how to do that and the steps you can take to make that happen. All right. And guys, there's something I want to say about this whole course. So this course is not just a business transaction, right? For Jeff and I. We are running 3 brands here in San Diego, and our studios bring in over $500,000 in revenue every year. We have a lot going on. We have a lot of things we're doing with our brands here. This course means so much to us, and I know that it can change so many lives. It can change so many businesses. I've seen it happen, and I'm already seeing it happen with our students that just enrolled in this course this week. If this were just a business transaction for us, we would not be including so much one-on-one time. We would not be including a 1-hour private coaching call. We would not be including Q&A calls. We would not be including a 30-minute one-on-one vision call, because honestly, that takes up our time, and we don't have a lot of time because we have so much going on with our studios and with our other brands. We're shooting ourselves. Jeff and I are shooting 20 weddings this year. We will be shooting weddings next year. We are in the trenches with all of you. We still photograph weddings. We're not just doing education or anything like that. We are still photographers, and we are understanding what it takes to go after our dreamies, the dreamies of our other brands. We're learning the mistakes. We are in the middle of the trends and the whims of the marketplaces. And so we are in the trenches with you. This is not just a business transaction for us. If it were, well, we would just include like one easy thing and that's it. And we want to make sure that you get as much value as you possibly can out of this. So just so you guys know, this means a lot to us. I developed this course because I wanted to make sure that other people had life-giving businesses they loved and that they could avoid the painful burnout that Jeff and I have felt that is not fun and can be really, really devastating for businesses. All right, I'm actually going to turn off the slides and I'm going to come back to you guys so you can see my face. Let's see. Hey, everybody. Now that we are, in the midst of Q&A, I'm going to stand here just for a little bit longer. Let's see. And then we are I'm going to answer your questions. I want to make sure you get as much time as you can to get those bonuses before we log off. So this is a great question. Let's see. Mary asks, I am an event planner. Will this course be helpful with my business? The answer is yes. This course is, it's perfect for any creative entrepreneur, any creative that works closely in a client relationship, doing something creative. So that basically applies to anyone in coordinators, florists, DJs, photographers, calligraphers, stationery designers, graphic designers. We've had realtors take this course because that relationship with your clients is fundamentally important and critical for creative entrepreneurs that are working with clients in a very, very close relationship. So it's perfect for all of that. Right now, because Jeff and I come from photography, all of the examples have to do with photography. And because we know weddings best, it's geared towards wedding and portrait and senior and boudoir photographers. However, we do have a dream someday to take this course and expand it, make it a little bit more relevant for all creative entrepreneurs. So that's where this is headed. And right now, the core concepts, the vast majority of it works great for any creative entrepreneur. So you can get a lot of value out of this course. And we've had florists and coordinators take this course and absolutely love it. So that is a wonderful question. If you guys have any other questions about the course, your branding, your marketing, anything to do in your business, that would be awesome. Let's see. Sometimes I feel like our dream clients aren't necessarily having our dream weddings. How do I ensure I combine the two? Well, I actually have a full lesson on that question right there. And I did, as students were going through this course, and they had this question quite a bit. So I actually built this lesson and I included it in the course for you guys because that's a valid question. Jeff and I have a lot of dream clients. Maybe they're not room weddings. In fact, one of our favorite clients ever got married on a ranch in Montana, and their guests sat on hay bales, and she rode her horse up to the ceremony. But their time. So how do you ensure that you marry it to PCR exercise? Sometimes you'll have clients that are wonderful, fulfilling, life-giving fit for you, but the wedding isn't exactly perfect. It's something you're going to throw on your website as a portfolio wedding, but you can still photograph it in a way that is perfect for your style. You have to remain true to your photography style and not like change how you shoot or how you edit based on the type of wedding. You have to stay true to you're going to shoot it. So we still shot the wedding the same way that we would shoot in a ballroom, using the same lenses, same lighting, same angle, and we made it look as classic and traditional as we possibly could. Now, there's photos from that wedding that we use in our portfolio, but not that whole wedding isn't a full feature wedding for us. Now, I can use this handful to attract more black tie weddings in that style that I really, really love. So that whole lesson addresses this when it's like, okay, so I want to photograph weddings that are of this style, but maybe not all of my dreamies are having those weddings. A lot of them will, but I talk about how to connect with vendors that typically have that style. So we work with a handful of vendors here in San Diego that know that black ties and ballrooms are what we want. So when they have a client that is having a black tie ballroom wedding, they know they're sending it to the Youngrens. When they have a gray suits and gardens weddings, they know they're sending it to Clothing Can. And so vendors and venues have helped us really get the style of wedding that we really love here in Southern California, because black ties and ballrooms is not that common in Southern California, in San Diego. And so when they do come around, we're the ones that are shooting them. And so venues and vendors have been very, very helpful in that realm. We also shoot on the East Coast. We shoot in Chicago. We shoot in Boston and DC. We're going to Annapolis this weekend for a wedding. And so we do travel to those weddings where they happen a little bit more often. So that's a great question. And again, there's a full lesson that addresses that right there. All right, just a few more questions, guys. Booney asked, hey Booney, hey buddy, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Are there any resources you would recommend to dealing with determining their own values or their why? Well, the resource I'd recommend is this course because I know what your values are and what your why is, because this course is a fundamental mindset shift. A lot of people have never thought about this before. Maybe you have, and you understand your values and your why, which is great. A lot of people that have never given this much thought. In this course, I help you through that process. I help you understand, like, you're going to have to change the witness. You're going to have to change the way you think about how you interact, what's important to you. And you're going to have to start digging down deeper, which for some people isn't as intuitive. It isn't as knee-jerk. Like, I walk you through that process of how to actually do that and to understand what's important to you. So many people go from not understanding who they are to having a crystal clear understanding of who they are and what matters to them. And I've seen full businesses change completely. I've seen brands go from being a good brand to a great brand. I've seen people say, oh my gosh, I was on the right path, on that path using these concepts. And I have people say, I'm going on this path and this is not good. I am switching gears completely and I'm going over here because I finally understand what's important to me. So Booney, I would highly recommend this course if you want to understand your values and your also read Simon Sinek's Start With Why. Wonderful, wonderful book. It is about business and branding, but I absolutely love it. So read that and it helps you understand this concept of why. I really, really love it. I read his book like a year ago. I was late to the Start With Why party, but I was reading it and I'm like, this is everything I teach in my course. This is amazing. I love this guy. So I totally love him. So I love that. I also recommend Elizabeth Gilbert. She has a lot of really amazing stuff on creativity. Her book, Big Magic, is awesome. Has less to do with values and why, but it does help in the creative journey a lot in those books. All right. Gianna has just enrolled in the course. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you in the Dreamy family. Mary has just enrolled in the course, family. I'm so excited to walk with you ladies in this journey. This is going to be so exciting. All right. Katie asks, I'm struggling to gather finances at this time to pay for a professional website. Investing in equipment, other must-have makes sense. Should I prioritize this? Will it be possible to attract dreamies through social media for now? Is it better to have no website for the time being than a bad website? That's a great question. So you do need to have some place where people can find you. Instagram feed, that's great. If that's just a blog, that's great. People have started really amazing businesses with very little. So you don't need to invest in a big, expensive designer right off the bat. In fact, I would advise you not to invest a ton of money into a designer until you're a few years down the road, because at the beginning stages of the process, you need to understand who you are and you need to get some experience photographing people. But this course is a prerequisite for investing in that big design. So I would prioritize going through this course before you invest in a really expensive brand. But that doesn't happen right now. You just, as long as you take this course before you invest in that expensive brand, that's great, because then you are going to get so much value out of that new branding process. And believe in investing in great designers. They are worth the money you will spend. They are wonderful people, and they will help you take your dreams, take your values, take your weirds, and put them online in a visual manner. They're experts at it, and they are professionals and wonderful. But you need to know this fundamental information before they can do their job really, really well. When you have this information, they can say, yes, I get it. I get you. I can represent you in an online visual brand perfectly. So prioritize the course over the expensive rebrand, but definitely make sure you get to it in a couple, have a better understanding of who you are, so that you can get the most longevity out of that money that you spent on a rebrand. Don't split right up front. You can just build a really basic website, a really basic brand, and start putting copy on there that's you. Start photographing images that's you and putting that out there first. What's most important are your images, your personality, and your copy. Before, it's not so much the colors and the design and all that stuff. Okay. Jennifer has enrolled the Dreamy Family. You are amazing. So happy to have you. Okay. Perfect. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have you here. This is amazing. I am actually we're getting some questions on the different levels. So I'm actually going to put the slides back up for you. So that way, got it. Perfect. All right, so you guys can see there. Okay. Guys, this is amazing. I am so excited. Make sure to hop over to the course page. I'm going to answer, I think I can only answer about one more question before we have to go. So let's see. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. This is amazing. You guys are so fun. Okay, Alicia, do you have any advice on how to approach venues and vendors to ask them how you can earn your way onto their vendor list? This is a great question. What I tell people is that when you understand your position and what makes you different from other people in your market, this is where having an understanding of your local market is really helpful, and it really sets you apart. It really helps give you a leg up in your local industry. You can tell when you know like who you're going after, then you don't have to worry so much about competition. You can take a look at the other people that are on their list and say, well, they like these kinds of weddings. Here's what I love to photograph. I'm a perfect fit for your venue. So that understanding that you are a perfect fit for them, they're a perfect fit for you, then you can approach it in a way that you are helping them out. Okay. When, we've just taken advantage of times where we could get to know a coordinator, or we've gotten to know them at a networking event and say, you know what? I love hearing about the kinds of weddings you photograph. I love hearing about the kind of brides you photograph. Those brides are like totally my brides too. We should get coffee and see how we can collaborate. When it's kind of that like, let's work this together kind of mentality, that really rich relationships with vendors in our area. When we can say like, hey, tell me about your favorite weddings. Tell me about your favorite clients, and ask about them and their business and who they are and what they're looking for and going after. And you can say, okay, actually the weddings they're going after, I don't want those weddings. They're not a good fit for me. Then you have the power to do that. You have the clarity to do that. That's one area. That's just one small example of where this clarity becomes helpful. When it comes to getting on venues lists, then it's all about relationship. You have to get to know the person that's doing weddings there, build a relationship with them, demonstrate to them that their clients are your clients and that you want to build that mutual relationship. When you know who you're going after, what your position is, when they can see on your website that what you're doing is totally their kind of brides too, that's great, because they don't want to go to your website and see, I can't recommend them to my brides here because they don't shoot the kind of style that my brides would love. But when the venue can say, you know what? Like my brides would love this photographer. They would love this style of photography. They would love their personalities. Then you're going to be able to get a lot more recommendations that way. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This was amazing, and I can't believe how long we spent on the Q&A. And thank you so much for hanging out with me here. Like, you guys are awesome. But we're going to wrap up. And again, I am so excited to have a whole new set of students in the Dreamy family. Thank you guys for joining us. And we don't know when enrollment is going to open up again. So keep in touch when we're going to do these trainings again. Keep in touch for Creative Rising, our podcast, and keep in touch with everything that's going on. But we're closing enrollment to the course tonight. So if you don't get in the course tonight, we don't know when we're going to open it up again. Last time we opened it up was last July, 8 months ago. So if you know you're interested in this, then I want you to get in the course by midnight tonight, Tuesday, April 4th. All right. You guys are amazing. I'm going to wave goodbye here really quickly. Of your day. Again, enrollment closes at midnight tonight, Pacific Standard Time on April 4th, 2017. Thank you so much for being here. All right.